Today I will review Pimax Crystal Light. Yes, super excited. This is actually has the potential of being the best PCVR headset, but we will see if it's actually true. To be 100% honest, I've had a love and hate relationship with Pimax headsets. While I love the clarity of the visuals that this headset gave me, it was a real pain to set up, especially because the last time I reviewed Pimax Crystal was when I received an early unit and it was still very buggy to set up and it wouldn't get recognized by my PC. So this time they've sent me Pimax Crystal Light, which is a lighter version of the previous combo PCVR versus standalone headset Pimax Crystal. Pimax Crystal Light is a light version because it is only a PCVR headset. There's no components related to standalone. There's no battery. There is also no standalone hardware that makes this headset heavier. So the great news is that it literally is much lighter than Pimax Crystal. The truth is it is stripped down of certain features, but we're going to find out if it's actually hurting the overall VR experience with this headset. The wonderful things that remains unchanged is the QLED display with 2880 by 2880 pixels per eye, which results in 35 pixel density, which looks amazing. In case you don't know, pixel density is how many pixels are packed into a certain amount of space on a screen, and it affects how sharp the image looks. The more pixels are in the small area, the sharper and clearer the image will appear. This is another important metric to look at alongside resolution. This resolution is higher than any consumer-grade headset that you'll find on the market, and this results in extremely clear and sharp graphics, just as great as I remember them in Pimax Crystal. When I was kayaking in Kayak Mirage in Pimax Crystal Light, I came close to this palm tree with lots of leaves on top of it, and I could clearly see every single leaf. There was absolutely no pixelation, no blurring, nothing was blending in. That's kind of crazy. It's borders photorealism. That's how clear things are. The beautiful thing about it is also, of course, the aspheric lenses, which provide an extremely large sweet spot. And the field of view in this headset is unmatched. It's kind of going to ruin VR for every one of you if you try it. My favorite thing about this headset is that there is no battery required here. Pimax Crystal, the original predecessor of this one, was such a power-demanding headset that in addition to being plugged into the PC with a cable, it also required you to have a battery at the back of it to draw in more power. So of course that battery was also used for the standalone mode, but the fact that it was also required for the PCVR mode, it was just so inconvenient that this finally feels right. And of course, the setup process is much less intimidating because there's fewer cables for you to worry about. There's just one display cable and one USB cable, and of course there's also the power plug that you connect to the wall. Pimax did have some serious issues with the headset setup in the past, especially in the early days, and I probably was one of the loudest people in the VR community who were very vocal about it, because I spent hours and hours and days really trying to set up my old Pimax Crystal. So the main goal of this headset in my head was to combat these issues, and boy oh boy, it's night and day now. It is basically a plug and play headset with one condition: you need to install the Pimax client properly, because in my case apparently there was some issue with the way that the Pimax client installed on my PC. God knows for whatever reason, but this headset would not pop up and be recognized by my PC. All it really took was to uninstall and then install Pimax client again, and pop, the headset got instantly recognized, and it was all smooth sailing from there. There's also a guide now that walks you through exactly how you're supposed to set up your headset. So there's floor calibration, and there's also controller syncing parts. Everything is really described in very high detailed from the moment you need to plug in the headset to the moment that you're actually ready to play, which is also a great improvement compared to how it used to be. Now there's finally this bright and glorious day when I'm finally saying it to all of my community that Pimax Crystal Light is very easy to set up and start playing. It comes with its own controllers, and the inside-out tracking is amazing, and it works flawlessly regardless of what kind of games I was testing it with. I really didn't see any issues. They managed to polish this technology really well, which is really impressive, that you don't really need need any external controllers or base stations. It's just ready to play right out of the box, if you have the right PC, of course. I had to upgrade recently just because I really didn't want to have any issues anymore. As a reviewer, I think that is super disrupting, but the fact that it did connect flawlessly could be because my PC now sports a 4090 GPU. Hope that all of you will have just as smooth of an experience connecting and playing with Pimax Crystal Lite as I did with a more high-end PC. So even though this one is called light and it is in fact lighter, it is not actually physically smaller at all. It's still literally the same size as Pimax Crystal. It's the same panel, and you can even use the same lighthouse panel here to connect your index controllers if you don't want to use your controllers. One thing that's gone from this headset that makes it lighter and cheaper is the eye tracking. The eye tracking module is gone, which means that it's also rid of automatic IPD adjustment, which is your interpupillar distance. It's not automatic anymore. You need to set it up manually using this dial. And also the foveated rendering is not dynamic anymore. It's fixed. Dynamic foveated rendering means that wherever on this display you're looking, that part is rendered with the highest quality, and the parts of the periphery are at the lower quality, but you can't really see it because you're not looking at them. Now here, the foveated rendering is fixed, which means that it's always closer to the middle of the screen that the image is rendered on the highest quality, and the edges of the screen are lower quality. Now that is done to save the computational power of your PC, a relatively small price to pay for such a high-end headset to be much more affordable than the original Pimax Crystal. Let's talk a little bit about comfort, because I do have some things to say about it. So the good thing is this top strap is amazing. It is so much better than the previous top strap in Pimax Crystal, and I think that this really improves quality and it makes it much easier to adjust it on the go. The headset is also lighter, and that also by definition makes your gaming experience, I guess, more comfortable. But in my case, I found that this faceplate is actually too big for my face, I think, because when I put it on my face, I kind of see a little bit of glare to the sides of it, and I can feel that these sides are going beyond my face. So I don't know, I guess I have a small face or something, but I think that this is made for someone with a bigger head than mine. When I put an extra cushion on top of it to fix that glare and to make it more snug on my face, then the FOV gets much smaller because my face is further from the lenses, and that way I basically lose a lot of the field of view because I'm not as close to the lenses as possible. Because this didn't fit my face properly, I didn't find it comfortable. Please keep in mind that comfort is the most subjective aspect of all, and if something doesn't work for me, it doesn't mean that it will not work for you. I've seen creators praising Crystal Light comfort and citing that they could wear it for hours at a time, so everyone's experience is different. Another thing related to comfort is actually it gets really hot when you're playing power demanding games. Like one of the games I was testing was No Man's Sky, and again with my new graphics card I'm kind of going crazy, and I set everything to ultra, and oh my gosh, I thought that I lost my jaw somewhere on the driveway because it fell so far. I honestly was shocked at how clear everything looked. But because I was running it with such high specs, I think that it made both my headset and my PC that's sitting right here very hot. So my PC was radiating a lot of heat, but that's obviously my problem. But the headset was also getting really warm, to the point that pretty soon I got just physically uncomfortable and sweating, and I just didn't think that I could play any longer than 40 minutes. It is possible that if you lower the quality from ultra to high or medium, which is probably what most people would be playing it with, you would not have this issue, but I really wanted to get the best of the best visual experience, and I did. I just couldn't make it last for that long. So I hope that this is something that Pimax can actually push updates towards, so to make it better equipped to run power demanding games without it overheating, because what's the point of having such a beast of a headset and not be able to enjoy your VR games in ultra settings? This is definitely a high-end PCVR headset for someone who enjoys more slower paced sims, racings, flying sims, or anything that you can play very comfortably in the comfort of your chair without really moving around too much, and possibly, preferably, further away from your PC. The price here, you will see that there are actually 3 versions of this headset. There's the one that does not have any local dimming, which means that there's no really true blacks because all the panel is being lit up. You can actually save $200 from the version of the same headset with controllers and with a local dimming. And there's also an option in between that does offer local dimming, but it doesn't come with any controllers, so it only comes with a headset. Interestingly, the local dimming really doesn't make any difference in the weight of the headset. Both versions of these headsets are weighed 815 grams. Even though the one with local dimming has the mini LED, it apparently doesn't add anything to the weight of the headset. But the most beautiful thing about this headset is that it offers you uncompromised quality. If your PC can afford it, then you're getting the best possible sense of immersion in VR than any other headset currently available for consumers on the market can offer you. And that is honestly something that's very hard to put a price on for a true VR enthusiast. And the truth is, the price that is being put on this headset, even considering that it has been stripped off of many of the features that Pimax Crystal had, given the quality and the ease of use, is more than reasonable. And I was very pleasantly surprised that yes, finally for this price you get a headset that's easy to set up. It's pretty much plug and play. It has no bugs. I never lost tracking with this headset, and I experienced virtually no issues with it whatsoever, with the exception of the overheating a little bit and me getting not comfortable. The size is still something that could be improved so much more. I think they're really stuck in this design and they don't want to change it at all, as shown by virtually no change with this compared to Pimax Crystal. The next step for them should be fixing the form factor and making it more attractive to users who don't want their head to be consumed by this monster of the headset. $99 price tag is kind of incredible because it's pretty much the same ballpark as the Quest 3 with 512 gigabytes. It's really interesting how the people who prefer mobile, standalone, fast experiences will spend the same money for that headset than the high-end VR simmers and really hardcore enthusiasts who wants the highest end PCVR headset, and the only difference really is the actual PC, not the cost of the actual headset anymore. But the real kicker here is that recently Sony has released the PC adapter for their PlayStation VR 2, which allows you to use PlayStation VR 2 headset as a PCVR headset with your Steam games. So the real question here is whether Pimax Crystal Lite is a better PC VR headset than the PlayStation VR 2 when played in the PC VR mode. And I'm going to find that out in the next video, but until then I recommend you watch this video where I'm setting up Pimax Crystal to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've got a really exciting result there. See you there!